fellow racers. This is T Skims reporting in from runnerspace.com, and I'm here in Philadelphia, home of our target today, in order to see if we can get a few words from the man behind the barefoot running revolution and writer Born to Run, Christopher McDougall. I just have to find him first. Oh, that's not him. Oh wait, it is! McDougall, I have a word with you! Thank you, Mr. McDougall, for stopping to take a minute with me. It's a huge honor, and I am a huge fan.
No problem, man. It's a pleasure. I was done running anyway. Ask me what you want to ask me.
Well, Mr. McDougall, I can't thank you enough.
I'm spending time with the Tarahumara tribe in Mexico, trying to figure out their secrets for my own benefits. It dawned upon me that everything I've been told about running was a lie. Only in our lifetime has running become associated with fear and pain, when for most of human existence, running was what allowed us to survive. And that is why the Tarahumara still know and practice their art form and its origins. My was to show that our greatest natural ability, this talent for running long distance over wild terrain, could still be fun, injury-free, and accessible to absolutely everyone.
Change the publication of Born to Run.
No, in some ways not at all. Since I live in a very rural area of Pennsylvania, surrounded by many Amish people who have never heard the book and could care less. Yet, at the same time, it has added so much depth and knowledge to my life that, that has become this, as I have become the center head of and spokesman of the barefoot running debate. I've been able to see the arguments and points of both sides of this debate, furthering my knowledge and showing me far more than I would ever have hoped to learn.
The most surprising thing you found as you wrote the story?
The surprising thing that I discovered while writing was the amount of research done on injury-reducing running shoes. There was none. There was not a single study suggesting that running shoes actually help and reduce the injury or damage to your legs that is caused by running. Actually, on the contrary, it has become apparent and obvious to me that these high-tech running shoes are actually causing the injuries that they are supposed to prevent. It was at this point where I started to experiment running barefoot like the Tarahumara, which sounded absurd to me at the time. Yet after running and trying out their style of running, not only have I stayed injury-free for a while running on streets and rough terrain, but I've had a blast while doing so.
How did you feel during your greatest race?
To be honest, I felt like complete shit. Yet at the same time, I felt pretty amazing, like I was one with Earth. Now I'm a 220 or so pound, 6-foot man, and running 50 miles in the Copper Canyons in the middle of the summer, I was bound to experience some issues. Yet while I was running, I was just thinking of Caballo Blanco and Marco during the race, and I just kept remembering all the advice they'd given me, and I just kept cycling through my head. Keep it easy, light, smooth, and just to enjoy the race no matter what. It was at this point that I discovered I'm really slow as I finished the race, crawling past the finish line in last place, an hour behind everyone else. But also I discovered that running and the race wasn't supposed to be a competitive and painstaking action or event. It was supposed to be one that brings us together. In unity, as we celebrate the art form that had allowed us to survive in the past. Realizing this actually made me feel pretty damn good. Even if I was on the verge of having a stroke at the 40th mile mark in the 120-degree weather.
Now, why do you run?
Well, that would be a two-part answer. True reason is, since running for me has become such a vital and essential part of my life, as it improved my physical, mental, and social health. To put it plainly, almost my need of running is the same as my need for water. Running has become an indispensable part of my life that I can't live without. Funny, because I used to hate the action. Now, second reason, because we were all evolutionarily designed to run long distance, since it was our niche that allowed us to get the edge against the competition. It's the reason why it makes no sense to me why running authorities are allowed to demonize running unless you have running shoes, since running is an unnatural action within humans.
Wear shoes or run barefoot.
Have you not been listening to me? Barefoot, of course. I only add some kind of protection when necessary, like the vibrant bifingers. But even that layer of disconnect can allow my running to get a little sloppy and heavy-footed. Bare feet force you to really concentrate on being gentle, quick, and light, which improves my form and allows me to focus on my speed and distance. It allows me to stay connected, as I said. It makes me know what my feet are doing while I run, which allows me to stay injury-free while I'm having fun running.
Talk about diet in the book. How has your diet changed since you researched more?
Jurek, the awesome ultra runner who featured in the book, put it best by saying, remember, almost every long distance runner turns into a vegan while they're racing. You can't digest fat or protein very well. For me, that translates into eating nearly all the time like it's race day. If you're going on a trail run in a few hours, you can't pack in a half-pound of pasta or a double cheeseburger. I keep it simple by building most of my meals on a big bed of greens and adding on from there. I throw on sardines, beans, chopped eggs, whatever is handy and digestible, much like how we were in the past. You know, people of the past were obvious omnivores. They didn't have a deer every day. It was whatever you found is what you'd eat. They were opportunists. Sometimes, something we should all be more like. We should be more like that in a natural and healthy manner when it comes to our daily lives.
What lessons of humanity have you learned from the Tarahumara?
Korima. How odd how that Tarahumara word sounds like its cousin, Karma. The Tarahumara have no money and very few possessions. Their very existence depends on kindness and shared favors. All material things they believe should be like water and flow naturally to where they're needed, which you try to keep too much water for yourself, it will stagnate and make you sick. So it was from this that I have found that us as humans are designed to rely and be with one another, and that running is a tool that we have used to build that bond with one another. That over the centuries we have lost our ways and have become less than what our design dictates, which makes us shells of humans. We are running people who need to rely on one another in peace and love. Not to sound like a hippie.
By running as a people like the Tarahumara, do you think that we would become a much better people such as them? Why or why not?
It sounds really optimistic to take running and create world peace, but from a purely nuts and bolts perspective, it makes a huge sum of sense. If you think about the chain of sequence, if this ever happens, it would only lead to good things. If you teach people how to run like the Tarahumara and how to lose the fear of running being a means of torture and pain, people would be far healthier as they slim down and can start running injury and pain free. They will experience way less stress and be calmer since they would have a source to channel it. It would allow people to bond with one another while making them communal. A world where this is possible, it would be hard to see that we would have the health issues and violence between one another that we see today.
You sound too conspirational, but do you think the shoe companies have played a role in stifling the barefoot movement?
Not at all. Much like how Barefoot Ted has said about the shoe company's conflict with barefoot running. I hope 1,000 flowers bloom. All their responsibility and role they play in selling their products. If anything, I wish to have a peaceful collaboration with them. No, it's the authorities of the running field. The doctors, coaches, running magazines, and reporters are the ones who I have an issue with. It's as if the people who should know of the human body, that should understand the studies, and know the mechanics of the body, are just ignoring the obvious. That's right in their face. They are the ones that are creating the constant battles for us. They just ignore my book, saying it's false and is written with no real facts or studies. I'm not saying they should listen and agree with me. If they don't want to, they don't have to. It's just odd how the people in charge of running knowledge should know more about running, or even middleless running shoes, but they don't. Well, that was a fun interview. Want to hit a run with me if you can keep up?
Of course, sir. I was born to run.